Buenas noches, buenas noches, buenas noches.
Buenas noches, profesora.
¿Cómo estamos?
Bien, bien, profesora. Bueno, ya son las 7 en punto. No sé si damos inicio o esperamos un ratito que llegue.
Listo, de una vez no va a llegar nadie, vamos a darle, pues.
Ah, bueno, listo. Buenas noches, profesora. Buenas noches, estudiantes. Siendo las 7 en punto, damos inicio a nuestra clase de inglés con orientación científica con la profesora Vivian. Profesora, paso a compartir los parámetros de la sesión. Estudiantes, estos son los parámetros de las sesiones por videoconferencia. Las sesiones se graban, o sea que podemos verlas nuevamente en la plataforma virtual. Les solicitamos que por favor silencien sus micrófonos y puedan activarlos cuando quieran hacer consultas sí, consultas o aportes con el permiso del docente. Le pedimos que mantengan su cámara activa. De no poder hacerlo, enviar sus excusas por el chat de Zoom. Me perdí. O de lo contrario, serán retirados de la sesión y les serán restados puntos de la valoración del docente. Mi rol como moderador es facilitar y apoyar en la parte técnica. Las consultas las hacemos por el chat personal o general. Les exhorto a tener bolígrafo y papel para hacer sus anotaciones y aprovechar el máximo esta sesión. Listo, profesor.
Muchísimas gracias. Gracias. Good evening, everyone. This is me, Vivian Vargas. I'm your teacher, your instructor for this class, and we are in class number 7 today. Okay, so we are starting class number 7, and then I'm going to share with you what's going to happen today. Let's go. Let's take a look at what's going to happen. Here we go. Okay, so now this is class number 7. This is part of the module number 5. Okay, so remember we have module number 5, classes 7 and 8. This is 7, 8, and we finish. And we have learned a lot, right? I have learned myself things that I didn't know about our nature. Now, what's going to happen today? Let's take a look at this and let's see it. First of all, let's take a look at the instructions. In the instructions, we have number 1, get comfortable and avoid distractions. No TV, no cell phone, no nothing that can distract you. Get comfortable, not so comfortable you fall asleep like me. I'm very tired and I'm gonna be sneezing every time and drowning every time, sorry. Read and understand objectives thoroughly. I have already explained to you why. And do not skip tasks. You watch the video, you read the reading that goes with the video. Then as you watch, after that you take a look at after you have checked the videos and you have checked the readings, then you go ahead and then you go for your assignment, then you go for your test and you will be ready. Not uh, not leaving behind watching this video. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen. What's the introduction for this class? Class objectives. For this class, we are going to be talking about, it says here, describe the significance of interpreters in facilitating clear communication within the domain of tropical agriculture and agroforestry. Agroforestry, okay? So we're going to be talking about this and exhibit proficiency in the specialized terminology used for interpreting in the field of tropical agriculture and agroforestry in both the source and target language. Okay, those are the objectives for the module. However, today we will be checking the ones for the first part. Okay, mostly we're going to be talking about this so we can understand what we are going to be working on when talking about tropical agriculture and agroforestry. Please be patient with me. So, introduction. What is agroforestry? Do you have any idea? Well, let's take a look at the word and let's take it apart. It says agro. When we talk about agro, what are we talking about? Forestry, forestry. What are we talking about there? Do you have any idea? Then we have you ever heard of the word silvoarable? I think it's silvoarable. I think that's what we say. What do you think tropical agriculture science is about? What is the role of interpreters in tropical agriculture? And what are some challenges tropical agriculture faces? Do you have any information about this? Because until I had the opportunity to study this material, there were many things I didn't know. So let's take a look at this. Go ahead and let's start. Let's take a look at the video number 1, talking about tropical agriculture. And then we have there, it's very short, but it's very nice. And there we have some questions. Like for example, why do these students in Guam, you know where Guam is, choose to study agriculture? Would you consider studying agriculture? Do you like farming? Do you think we should grow our food? What do you think about it? Well, this is going to be answered in the video. Would you consider studying agriculture? Well, in my case, no, I don't think so. Now that I'm getting older, I have thought about planting in my balcony, having certain things like, for example, lemon, maybe, planting certain things over there. It could maybe something I could do, but like studying agriculture, no, that's something I'm interested in. Even in my grandparents' town, when we traveled there, we traveled to the town, okay? That they live like 6 hours away from our city. We traveled to the town, and then from the town, my brothers overall, they had to wake up every day, 4 a.m. in the morning. They had to wake up because they had to go to the farm, and they had to milk the cows, and they had to, do all those things, and they had to sow, and they have to harvest, and they had to clean, and they had to do things with my grandfather. I never did that. I went to the farm once in a while. I went to the farms, and I went to visit the family who lived there. And then when I went there, they were very happy. They made food, and I went around, and I took the mangoes from the trees, or someone took them for me, and then they washed them, and I ate them, things like that. However, I didn't do much of agriculture with my grandfather. Farming, I appreciate it, but no. And yes, I think we should start growing certain things on our own. What do you think? Let's continue. No, let's go to my mistake. Let's go and see why these students have decided to study tropical mistake. So my mistake, I didn't share the sound so you can see it. Rafael, ¿puedes ver mi pantalla?
Sí, profe.
Gracias. Okay, let's go ahead and let's answer this question.
I chose tropical agriculture because I believe that in the future we need to move towards more sustainable island and go back to the days of growing your own food and living off the land.
It gave me peace being surrounded by nature, so I wanted to learn what else does agriculture deal with, and it's not just farming.
UOG is only land-grant insular institution in this Western Pacific region. That is one of the unique aspects of it.
The Triton Farm has been a really big part of my learning experience here at UOG is because I'm able to apply my knowledge in the classroom into the field. I'm a home girl. I love to stay here. This is the only place I want to live and raise my family, so yeah, UOG is home.
Now, why? Why did they decide to study agriculture? What can you tell? Okay, so according to what we checked in the video, they decided to, sorry, give me a second. Let me go ahead, just in case. Let me go ahead. This, it's from the University of Guam. And then this is here Europe, and then I guess here we have Australia. This is the equator. This is part of Asia here over here. And this is Guam. It's a small island. And then she said that they had to move to go back and be a more sustainable island, sustainable that they can on their own, they get the food and the things that they want. Okay, and the other one said that she felt in peace when she was there, and then they said that that's the place, or at least one of them said that that's the place where she wants to be with her family, and it's beautiful. But why they decided to do it? Because they felt that we have to start growing our own food and be more sustainable by ourselves instead of depending on others and continue, damaging our earth. Now we have the reading number 2 about it says reading number 1, sorry, tropical agriculture and agroforestry. And then in this one is asking us several questions for us to understand what we need to understand about it. And it says, what is tropical agriculture and what characteristics makes it distinctive, okay? In the case of the tropical agriculture. Remember, we live in a tropical rainforest. So tropical agriculture goes for our tropical rainforest, okay? What are some common crops and fruits found in tropical areas? What are some of the major challenges in tropical agriculture? Give examples of some sustainable farming practices. How important is tropical agriculture to countries near the equator? What is the interpreter's role in agricultural communication? In a second. And which of the common expressions in tropical agriculture field do you recognize and which ones not? Okay, so let's go with question number 1. What is tropical agriculture and what characteristics make it distinct? Let's go ahead and let's take a look at the reading to be able to answer these questions, okay? Okay, go ahead. Second. Here we are. Sorry, I shared the one that I didn't have to share. Here we go. So we are talking about tropical agriculture and agroforestry. And then we are going to read what they say here. It says that interpreters do more than translating languages. They help people understand each other in various fields. In Panama, where the weather is warm and there is a lot of farming, interpreters need to know a lot about farming. This article talks about why interpreters in Panama should know a lot about farming and how this helps with communication, making farming better and growing the country's economy. Panama is in a great spot with warm weather and lots of different things they do. Interpreters are like the messengers who help people understand how to farm better. Because, for example, and I'm gonna stop there, the way things were grown in the past were way different from the way they are grown today, right? For example, it was more rustic, to say so. Now you have irrigation systems. Now you have this and this. And then you have these people coming from other countries that not necessarily can communicate with you because of the language barrier, that they have, developed better methods and easier methods and more sustainable methods to develop farming. So they come here, they want to share it with us, but we don't understand. Our people, our farmers, they don't understand. They don't speak English. And then the interpreter goes ahead and then says, the person says, and the person explains, he's telling me that if you do this better, you can save money, and then you can have a better product, and then you will have better profits. Oh, okay, that's wonderful. And then they will do it like that. Let's continue. In a moment, let me go ahead and check something here. Move on, okay. So it says, Tropical agriculture is a component, an important component of food production and in economies in regions near the equator, where warm and humid climates prevail. Okay, so what is tropical agriculture? It says it involves the cultivation of crops, rearing of livestock, and aquaculture in tropical and subtropical areas. Okay, crops, rearing of livestock, and aquaculture. That's what tropical agriculture involves. And then it says, this type of agriculture is distinctive due to the unique challenges and opportunities posed by tropical environments, such as high temperatures, heavy rainfall, and diverse pests and disease pressures. You have heard people have, you know, they make their best to have their crops, and then all of a sudden they go and check and something was eating something very little was eating the crop, and all the money they invested there, all the money they put in there, they just lost it. And the families, they subsist from that type of business. Okay, so high temperatures, heavy rain. So it doesn't rain, and it doesn't rain, and we need some rain for the harvest to grow. And then it pours water and water and water, and it gets loaded. And now they lost the crops again. After they were asking for, because of the heavy rainfall that was just too much for them. So this is what we are talking about. It says, let's go to question number 2. So that's question number 1. Let's check it. What happened? What happened? But let me close this. Let me go. I'm sorry. It says, what is tropical agriculture? We already heard. It's a common form of growing food, and it involves the food itself, the crops, the rearing livestock, and the aquaculture. What are some common crops and fruits found in tropical areas? Go ahead and let's look for the answer to this question. You may already know it, but you know. So it says, key crops and livestock in tropical agriculture. Tropical agriculture is characterized by a rich diversity of crops and livestock that thrive in these warm and humid conditions. In spite of that, common tropical crops include rice, maize, cassava. Cassava is yuca for us. Yuca, yuca moe, yuca frita, yuca. Bananas, guineos, o plátanos, and sugarcane, maíz, caña de maíz, caña de azúcar, perdón. These crops provide essential staple foods in many tropical regions. Additionally, tropical fruits like mangoes, pineapples, and papayas are widely grown and enjoyed both locally and internationally. I was once in Europe, and I remember we saw some papayas in Spain. And then they were like green. I mean, they were not ready yet. And I wanted to eat papaya, but I couldn't. Mangoes, and it was really expensive. You know, we could buy strawberries, lots of strawberries for $2, lots, €2. But then one mango or one papaya was completely out of our minds when we saw the prices. But then when you are there, you want to eat something that comes from you. Now, so these are the tropical foods. Rice. Almost every day, some people eat rice. Maize, I love maize, cassava, yuca. I don't like it all the time, but I like it. Sometimes I just make it here at home, at mojo, delicious. And bananas, I love the banana. Sugar cane, I love the caña de azúcar. When they put it like this in these machines and they take the juice, I love it. It's delicious, but I don't drink it that much. Okay, let's continue and let's take a look at the next question. The next question that we have over here, and we're going to check it, says, what are the major challenges in tropical agriculture? Take a look at them, and let's see what the article says. Challenges in tropical agriculture. While tropical agriculture offers abundant opportunities, it also presents unique challenges. High temperatures, humidity, create favorable conditions for pests and diseases that can damage crops and reduce yields. Yields is incomes. The tropical climate can also lead to soil degradation, making sustainable farming practices crucial. Looking for other sustainable practices. Furthermore, excessive rainfall, tropical storms can result in flooding and erosion, further complicating the agriculture. Okay. So which challenges we talk about? We talk about high temperatures and humidity that improve or make more favorable the conditions for pests and diseases. The soil degradation, the excessive rainfall, the tropical storms that lead to the flooding. Boom. We have no words for that. Can you imagine the desperation of a person that lives from that and all of a sudden they lose everything? Very difficult. So we have the answers for the first 3 questions, I think. What is tropical agriculture? We already said it. What are some common crops and fruits? We already said it. What are some of the major challenges? We already said it. Give examples of some sustainable farming practices. Here we have to read a little, but let's do it. Given the challenges, sustainable farming practices are critical in tropical agriculture. Crop rotation, agroforestry, listen to this, crop rotation, agroforestry, and organic farming are increasingly adopted to improve soil health and enhance resilience against pests and diseases. Sustainable practices aim to protect the environment, preserve biodiversity, and ensure long-term food security. Crop rotation, agroforestry, and organic farming. What is crop rotation? What is agroforestry? What is organic farming? Okay, let's take a look at this, and let me go ahead and do this for you guys. Give me a second. Give me just a moment. Give me a second. Give me a moment. And let me share this with you guys. Give me a second. Give me a moment, I'm going to show it to you. It says, what do you mean by crop rotation? I know what it is, but I want you to read it from here. It says, crop rotation is the practice of growing a series of different types of crops in the same area across a sequence of growing seasons. This practice reduces the reliance of crops on one set of nutrients pests and weed pressure, along with the probability of developing resistant pests and weeds. Let's take a look at an example over here in images, how they rotate. So this means that in one season, let's see if we can see it here. In one, they for example, in one season, they plant things like this. Plants that go with roots, okay? And then in the other one, they go with a potato family. And then in the next one, they go with legumes. And then in the next one, they go like with what we call brucellas and coles, cauliflower, and broccoli, all those, okay? So doing this one needs certain nutrients. It took the nutrients. Then you go here and then you do this one. You plant this one. This one doesn't need the same nutrients that this one needs. So it takes other nutrients. Okay, then you gave rest for this one. And then you go to this one for other nutrients, different practices, different things. And then in the meantime, the soil is resting from this. And then when you go here, imagine how many months have passed. You go here. When you go back here, your soil is ready to give you what you need to plant this. Because you rotated first. Did I explain myself? I hope I did. Next one is agroforestry. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. And the other one is organic farming. Let me show it to you. Organic farming. Coming. So let's read it here. Organically grown food is food grown and processed using non-synthetic fertilizers or pesticides. And then we have some examples. It depends. It's very difficult for people to do something like this because of the amount of pests that you can have. Now, this is what happens. When you grow it in your balcony, in your backyard or something, that's organic food. It's not going to have the pesticides and the things that the others have, okay? Let's take a look at this. They're trying to the things that they use. It says very compost. I mean, the things that they use to put into the soil, sorry, are, for example, bonita de vaca, that we call manures, things like natural, so they don't have to be using estos abonos llenos de cosas that are not good, that they make the things look beautiful and anything, but when you eat them, are not good for your human body. Okay, let's continue. Give me a second. I don't know what I did. I think I did a mistake here. Give me a minute, please. Give me a second. I think I closed. I closed the article. I think I closed it. Let me open it for you, and then I'll be back with you. Don't worry, everything's gonna be all right. Let's go. I closed it by mistake. Okay, let's make it bigger so we can see this very nice. So those are the sustainable practices we were talking about, right? We were talking about, I took the one I didn't have to take, so my mistake. I took number 2, I had to take number 1, sorry. Let me just put it for you and have it. Okay. Let's go here. Next question says, how important is tropical agriculture to countries near the equator? You may think of the answer already, but let's read it. So we have the practices, we have crop rotation, agroforestry, and we have organic farming. Now, tropical agriculture significantly contributes to the economies of many nations near the equator. These regions often rely on agricultural exports as a source of income and employment. Additionally, small-scale farming is common in tropical areas, providing livelihoods for many rural communities. The success of tropical agriculture is closely linked to the economic development and poverty reduction. Okay? Now, what happens? For example, we go to the supermarket and we buy from Cerro Punta no sé qué or something. You go to Merca and you buy from some other people. That's the people who have the opportunity to kind of export within the country, because they export it from the little cities to the Panama City, okay? So it moves the economy. But you also have the people within those small towns or places that they produce the thing and they put it to the small stores, or they put their places in order to sell them. It moves the world. Because remember, everybody has to eat. Now, that's the impact that it has, because many people depend on that. Let me check what the next question is, and I will let you know. Next question is, what is the interpreter's role in agricultural communication? It says, okay, the role of interpreters in agricultural communication. It says, highlight the interpreter's role in facilitating communication between agricultural experts, farmers, and local communities. Three types of people there involved: the agricultural experts, the farmers, and the local community. Explain the challenges of conveying agricultural knowledge across linguistic and cultural barriers. Okay, it's important that there are challenges over there. And provide examples and anecdotes demonstrating the impact of effective interpretation. Okay. When the interpretation is effective, and then they can say, okay, in this country, look what happened. They did this, and mire, aquí the person says, and then they say, okay, mire, le quiere mostrarle que en este país hicieron esto y esto y esto, y aquello y aquello y aquello, y eso ayudó a que la economía mejore. Oh, I want to do that. So, tenemos mucho que pagar por eso. Do I have to pay for that? No, 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 no. What you have to do is to organize yourself like this and this and this. No, no, no. Lo que usted tiene que hacer es que se tiene que organizar de esta y esta y esta. Okay, now, empowering farming communities. Then we have this part over here. We have agricultural changes and climate resilience. It's important that the interpreter investigates by himself all the challenges that Panama faces. So he's able to explain that to the person on the other side. ¿Qué le sucede, señor? Es que tenemos esas cosas que se comen, la roca que se comen, la broca. And the other person, la broca. Yes, there is something called la broca, B-R-O-C-A, and it's something that it's like a small thing that goes into the coffee beans, and then it takes it out. Oh, well, let me see, okay? And, okay, the studies, okay. Now, I think that was the last question, and then go ahead. Common expressions, that's what we're going to see it now, the common expressions that we have for interpreters. Let's go ahead, and it says 20 phrases used by interpreters in the tropical agriculture field. Crop rotation. What is it? Different crops are planted in the same field in successive seasons to maintain soil fertility and control pests. Organic farming. It says avoid synthetic pesticides and fertilizers. Okay, only natural and sustainable techniques, pest management, strategies to control and minimize damage from insects and other pests in crops, soil erosion, the removal of topsoil due to the factors like wind, water, or improper farming practices. Irrigation systems, I talked to you about them before, techniques for supplying water to crops, okay? Agroforestry, a land use system that combines agriculture, agro for agriculture, with the cultivation of trees, forest, to enhance sustainability and biodiversity. Agriculture with for plants for food and forestry with trees. Soil fertility, the ability of soil to provide essential nutrients to support plant growth. Sustainable practices, farming methods that aim to maintain productivity while preserving the environment for future generations. Climate resilient crops, plant varieties that can withstand the challenges posed by changing climate conditions. That it doesn't matter. It rains, it continues there. It doesn't rain, it continues there. There is a plant. It's not for food. It's called lengua de suegra. Let me see if I can show it to you. It doesn't need that much water. And it survives in a second. Let me show it to you. This is the one to say, and let me look for another one that I want to show you. A moment. Second, let me show you. Let's go for this. Let me show you. Okay, this plant, you should have seen it. Lengua de suegra is called. La lengua de suegra doesn't, doesn't need that much water, and it's okay with the heat, and it's okay with everything. Now I'm gonna show you the other thing I'm gonna show you. It's about plants that survive that climate, the climate weather. We have adaptation in plants. So we already know the cactus. We have this ironwood. We have these ones. And then we have water things. And then they keep what they need to keep, and then they resist these kind of changes. Let's continue with our article. Let's continue. Okay, so it says, the pesticides are the chemicals that they use to destroy pests. Livestock management, it says strategies for raising and caring for animals like cattle, goats, and chickens on farm. They have their strategies. You have seen that they have certain things, so they move through that, and they don't spread. Composting. Composting is organic materials to create nutrient-rich soil. And then organic people, organic agricultures, what they do is that they use, as I told you, the cow's excrement. Okay, they take it and then they put it, and they use it as a abono. So they can have better. The crop yield is the number of crops produced in a specific area. Okay, so you take that into kilograms and tons, and that's going to determine how much is going to be your end. The greenhouse farming is when have you been to Cerro Punta? That they have certain things like this. They have like greenhouses in the invernaderos. Like this, and then inside they have the crops. Organic certification is when the product is certified or something that it doesn't take any kind of pesticides or anything that is not. Sustainable agriculture goes for practices that are looking for the minimum impact in the environment. It says fertilizer application. It's the controlled use of fertilizers to provide essential nutrients to crops, cover crops, plants grow between main crops to protect and enrich the soil, crop protection, by the measures that are taken from pests, from diseases, from adverse weather, these people that they put things over there, so they can have the sunlight, but at the same time, they don't receive all the water. The crop rotation schedule is when they say, like, this is going to be planted here, this is going to be planted in January, we will plant this. In May, we will plant this. In August, we will plant this. Then we go back to January. Okay? Now, the role of the interpreters in this is crucial. Okay? Like in the other things. In anything that you need to work as an interpreter, or you want to work as an interpreter, I have done it as a medical interpreter. In anything that you want to work as an interpreter, your role is crucial. Because let's suppose that the person gives you some new techniques for these farmers to be able to raise their crops. And then they are doing their crops, they're having their crops. However, what you offer is going to help them. But then you give the instructions in the way that is not correct. You misinterpret or mistranslate an expression. And then the crops go to nothing. You are responsible for that. That's why being an interpreter is something so delicate and so beautiful, something like that, okay? Interpreters help with communication, share important farming knowledge, support sustainable farming, okay? Interpreters bridge language and cultural gaps, make sure farmers know what they need to know, help Panama's agriculture grow, support local communities, encourage sustainable farming. You know, all these kind of things are done by interpreters when they are doing their work right, okay? Now, this is it. Finish with this over here. Let's go back to our, the presentation. And what we are going to do is that we are going to interpret, okay? We are going to practice interpretation. Let's see how we do this, okay? It says, I'm going to read in Spanish. I'm going to give you 2 or 3 seconds to think, and then I'm going to do it. And you can tell me, I think I can do it better or something. El informe de las 3 agencias destaca que el cultivo climático que el cambio climático afectará el rendimiento de cultivos, impactará las economías locales y comprometerá la seguridad alimentaria en el noreste de Brasil, en parte de la región andina y en fin. The report from the 3 agencies, okay, shows that climate change will affect the crop yield, will impact the local economy, and will compromise the feeding security in the northeast of Brazil, the northeast of Brazil, and in part of the Andina, region, and in Central. Let's look for Andina in English. Let's go for Andina. Go Andina. Listen to it. It says
Andina.
okay.
Andean.
Andean. You see? Give me a second. Let me show this again. Let's go with this. Okay, and it says Andean and in Central America. Let's go now. El reto actual para la región es considerar cómo continuar su proceso positivo de erradicación del hambre a medida que los efectos del cambio climático se vuelven cada vez más profundos y notorios en sus sistemas productivos, explicó Raúl Benítez. How would you say that? Let's try. I'm not perfect, but let's try to do this. The current challenge for the region is considerable. To continue its positive process in hunger eradication. I'm not sure that would be the word. Give me a second. I know the word, but I don't remember the name. Moment is eradication. That's exactly the word. To give you guys. Give me a second. So it says in the hunger eradication. While the climate change effects become each time more profound and notable in their productive systems, explained Raúl Benítez, regional representative of FAO, to the other ministers. Los países cuyos sectores agrícolas sufrirán los mayores impactos, Bolivia, Ecuador, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua y Paraguay, ya enfrentan desafíos importantes en términos de su seguridad alimentaria. It's worrying. It says, the countries whose agriculture sectors will suffer the most, Bolivia, Ecuador, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Paraguay, are already facing important challenges in terms of their feeding security. Is that right? Yes, we finish here. With this, we finish our class because what we have next is for our next classes, okay? So, let's review what we were talking about today. We were talking about tropical agriculture. And then we said that in the tropical agriculture, we involve crops, livestock, and aquaculture. We said that there are many challenges that are faced by agriculture, tropical agriculture. Like, for example, the fact of the heavy rainfall or the humidity, the warm weather and the humidity, the dryness also when there is no the droughts, when there is no rain. Those are some of them. And some sustainable farming practices we learned about. It was the crop rotation, the agroforestry, and what was the other one? Remind me? The agroforestry and the organic food. Okay? And then we said that the role of the interpreter's role is to be bridge, okay? And to help local communities, to help everyone to get involved in it, okay? Next week, we will learn a little bit more about what we have to do, or what we have to learn as interpreters. What are certain things, not only the ones that we saw today, in order to be able to do this, okay? So the homework is the following. You don't have to start doing it right now. If you don't feel comfortable, you can do it next week. This week, you need to read, to watch the videos and to do the readings as always. And then for next week, after we finish this, or during the next week, you can go ahead and work on your homework. That is, record your voice interpreting the narrator of the video provided to Spanish and to take your test. Okay, so that would be it for today. I really appreciate you being here watching this. We are about to finish, and I do hope you have been learning this. Thank you for watching, and I do hope I can see you next week. You can watch the video whenever you need it, and you can continue learning about the beautiful work of an interpreter, specifically in grade 4. Thank you. Gracias.
Listo, profesora.
Muy amable, gracias. Que
Gracias.
tengas hasta luego.
Igualmente, profesora. Bueno, si no tenemos más consultas o aportes, podemos dar como finalizada la sesión de la noche de hoy. Tengan todos una excelente noche. Gracias, profe.